Northgate. Today we're in Luke chapter 2, Acts chapter 12, and Galatians chapter 1. Two things that stood out to me in these chapters. Between Galatians chapter 1 and Luke chapter 2, there's three characters that all have something in common, and that's the shepherds, Simeon, and Paul. And what I notice is that they're all patiently and persisting in waiting for something that they're anticipating, and their strength in that comes from a revelation that they were given, a heavenly revelation that they were given from the Lord. The shepherds were visited by an angel. Simeon was shown by the Holy Spirit, and Paul was shown and met by a vision of Jesus himself. So it just reminded me of something that Jesus taught his disciples. He said, don't call anybody on earth Father, because your Father is in heaven, and don't call anybody on earth teacher, because your teacher is himself. And I've had to mull that over, because I believe in teachers, and I believe in the gift of teaching, and that God empowers people in his church to teach, and to teach others about his word, that they're given that gift. And Father, I'm not going to start calling my dad Blaine, because I'm not supposed to call him Father. I don't think that's what Jesus meant. But I do think what he meant was, if your primary teacher or your primary father figure is earthly, is a human, then your faith will always be susceptible to not just your own failures, but the failures of humans. And it's so important to have a relationship with God, and to be seeking him personally, so that the revelation and teaching and truth that you have comes from him. Then you'll always have an anchor to fall back on, an anchor of truth that you won't be led astray. And then the last point about these three characters that stood out to me was also just how different they all are. So the shepherds were just ordinary, working people who were just watching their flock and doing the day in, day out, mundane, everyday work of life. Simeon, it says he was a devout and righteous man. And then Paul was persecuting the church, and he was murdering people, and he was not a good man. So it's such a picture of three completely different people, and yet they were all deemed worthy in God's sight to receive the truth and the revelation of who he is. And so just to be encouraged that it's for everyone. There's nobody out there with any special gift, more so than you, to hear from the Lord or receive the truth from him and receive an encounter or experience from him. It is for everyone. So I hope you're encouraged. Thank you for listening.